Hello and welcome to lesson 3 of the writing series. Today we are looking at sentences. In the previous lesson, lesson 2, we looked at different text types, organizational features of text and different text purposes. In this lesson, you will recognize the structure of a complete sentence and identify different types of sentences. So now let's look at the definition of a sentence. A sentence is a group of words usually containing a subject and a verb expressing a statement, question, instruction, or exclamation. They make sense on their own. They begin with a capital letter and end with the correct punctuation. So for instance, if you're asking a question, you end your sentence with a question mark. If it's an exclamation, you end it with an exclamation mark. And if it is a statement, you end it with a full stop. So now let's look at the types of sentences. Firstly, simple sentence. It consists of just one clause. For example, Sandra is walking to college. This sentence begins with a capital letter and ends in a full stop. Sandra is the subject, which has to be a capital letter anyway because it's the name of the person, and walking is the verb in this sentence. Next, we have a compound sentence which is made up of two or more main clauses. Here we can see in the example, she always walks to college, which is a sentence that could stand by itself because it makes sense, it is complete. We also have another sentence of equal weight, she prefers the bus. Here, these two short sentences of equal weight have been joined together with a connective. This is part of the acronym FUNBOYS. So in these FUNBOYS connectives, which literally means for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so, are used to join compound sentences. So I also want to draw your attention to the fact that before the FUNBOY connective, we have a comma. So she always walks to college, comma, but she prefers the bus. Next, we have complex sentence, which is made up of one main independent clause and one or more subordinate clauses. So, for example, you would not feel the benefits until you try to walk every day. Or you will not feel the benefits until you try walking every day, flipped the other way around. Until you try walking every day, you would not feel the benefits. In this example, and simply put, you can see that we have one sentence or one complete sentence that could stand on its own. You would not feel the benefits. You also have extra information that does not make sense unless you add it to the sentence that makes sense. So, you would not feel the benefits until you try walking every day. How do you know this is a complex sentence? It is complex because it contains one independent clause. So this is the independent clause that does not depend on any other sentence to make sense on its own. And here you have the subordinate clause, otherwise known as the dependent clause, until you try walking every day. If I was to look at you and say, until you try walking every day, you will look at me and think, yeah, because my sentence is not complete. It would only be complete if I finish the sentence. So here we have flipped it and turned it into, until you try walking every day, you would not feel the benefits. So in summary, we have simple sentence which contains one simple clause, compound that is made up of two clauses joined together with a FUNBOY connective, and a complex sentence made up of a main clause which is independent and a subordinate clause which is dependent on the main clause to make sense. So now let's look at a fourth type, compound complex sentence. It has at least 2 independent clauses and at least 1 dependent clause. So for example, I found a bag full of cash as I walked to college this morning, but I really want to do the right thing. What makes this a compound complex sentence? It is simply a mix of a compound and a complex sentence. So the compound sentence within this compound complex sentence is, I found a bag full of cash, but I really want to do the right thing. The complex sentence within this compound complex sentence is, I found a bag full of cash as I walked to college this morning. We already know that for a complex sentence, you should be able to flip it around. Therefore, we could reword this sentence by saying, as I walked to college this morning, I found a bag full of cash. Okay, so to summarize, we've looked at a simple sentence. Here is an example. Sandra is walking to college. A compound sentence. She always walks to college, but she prefers the bus. A complex sentence. You would not feel the benefits until you try walking every day. And until you try walking every day, you would not feel the benefits if flipped around. And then we had a compound complex sentence. I found a bag full of cash as I walked to college this morning, but I really want to do the right thing. So now it is your turn. Why not have a go at writing your own example of a simple, compound, complex and compound complex sentence? Always self-assess by asking yourself, did I use a capital letter at the beginning of each new sentence? Did I use the correct punctuation at the end of each sentence? Did I use a fanboy connective with a comma before the connective to join up my compound sentence? Does my complex sentence make sense? And can I flip it? Does my compound complex sentence make sense? And does it contain both a compound and complex sentence? Would you say you are now familiar with the structure of a complete sentence and the different types of sentences? I hope so. Okay, so we have come to the end of this session.